It is the sound that haunts your dreams. It is the audio frequency of failure. You start a match, you play a card, and within 3 seconds, you hear it. The high-pitched scream of a man riding a pig jumping over the river expecting to reach your tower. This is 2.6 Hog Cycle. It is not just a deck, it is a system. It is a virus. It is a cult. It is a system built around one simple and infuriating flowchart. Outcycle your building, apply chip damage, defend using a cannon and a musketeer that somehow generates infinite value against pushes that cost twice as much. For 8 years, this strategy has terrorized the arena. It relies on one assumption, that you, the opponent, will eventually lose your patience. It relies on the fact that while you are playing Clash Royale, they are playing a rhythm game. Cycle, hog, defend. Cycle, hog. They do not think. They react based on muscle memory and latency and the frustration of their enemies. They believe that if they press buttons faster than you, they deserve to win. But today, the equation changes. We are not just going to beat 2.6, we are going to dismantle it. We are going to deconstruct the psychology of the 2.6 player and turn their own muscle memory against them. We are going to examine 5 deck archetypes that statistically and mechanically and psychologically overwhelm the 2.6 system. We are going to convert their positive elixir trades into total structural failure. Class is in session. To defeat 2.6, its core dependency must be understood. The deck relies on displacement and distraction. They use the ice golem to kite your units for a walk while the musketeer applies pressure from safety. They control where the fight happens. They dictate the geometry of the battle. They want you to fight on their side of the arena, where their princess towers can assist them. They want to turn your heavy push into a chaotic mess of kited troops running in circles. So the solution is simple. Remove their ability to move. Deny them the luxury of geometry. This is where splashyard enters the equation, specifically the bowler variation. The bowler is the physics engine's answer to the Hog Rider. Let us look at the interaction data. A Hog Rider advances at very fast speed. He ignores units to target the tower. The bowler applies true knockback. Unlike the log, which pushes back once, the bowler applies knockback repeatedly with every boulder toss. Each impact forces the Hog Rider backward. This resets his attack animation frame. This interaction cannot be efficiently bypassed by skill. It is a hard physics counter. It disrupts the server tick rate of the Hog Rider's attack. A 4 elixir Hog Rider is fully contained by a 5 elixir bowler. You might say to me, Logix, that is a negative elixir trade. That is -1 elixir. Incorrect. You now have a full health bowler advancing in the lane. This creates a counter pressure scenario that 2.6 struggles to manage structurally. The cannon does not displace the bowler. The cannon cannot stop the bowler from crushing it. The musketeer gets crushed by the boulder's pierce damage. They are forced to spend elixir on an ice golem and skeletons and another musketeer just to stop the unit that already killed their win condition. You force them to spend 7 or 8 elixir to defend a unit that you used for defense. That is a positive elixir trade in the long term.
But what if the bowler is out of rotation? What if you have a bad starting hand?
This is the panic protocol. If the bowler is missing, Tornado provides redundancy. You do not just pull the hog away, you pull him to the king tower. This is a precise interaction. You must wait until the Hog Rider crosses the bridge and enters the inner kill zone. Then you pull him to the center tile directly in front of the king. Once the king tower is active, the Hog Rider's effectiveness drops by approximately 40%. 3 cannons shooting at 1 pig eliminates any favorable outcomes for them. There is a mid-ladder trap you must avoid in this matchup. Do not deploy poison without tower value. The 2.6 player will try to bait your poison by placing a musketeer at the river. Do not take the bait. If you poison the bridge, they will cycle back to musketeer before your poison is back in hand. Wait until the musketeer is positioned near the princess tower. Clip her and the tower and the cannon all at once. Efficiency determines success. In triple elixir, you simply graveyard on the tower and poison their defenders. Their cannon shoots fast, but it cannot kill 20 skeletons spawning from random locations while being ticked down by poison. The sheer volume of units overwhelms their single target defense. Next, let us analyze the defensive composition of 2.6. It has 4 ground cards, which are the Hog and Ice Golem, and Skeletons and Cannon. It has 2 spells, which are Fireball and Log. It has exactly 1 reliable air response unit, the Musketeer. This creates a massive vulnerability known as a narrow defensive profile. If the Musketeer is removed or distracted or out of cycle, the 2.6 player has absolutely zero answer to heavy air attacks. They rely on cycling back to the same card over and over. If that card is dead, they are dead. Lavaloon exploits this limitation to the point of cruelty. This matchup is defined by pressure scaling. In single elixir, you play passively. You accept some hog damage. Do not panic if you take 500 or even 1000 damage. Your goal is to reach double elixir with a tower still standing. Once double elixir starts, you deploy the Lava Hound in the back corner. The 2.6 player is now on a clock. They must have the Musketeer ready. You build the push. Lava Hound, Balloon, Mega Minion. They play the Musketeer. You Fireball and zap the Musketeer instantly. Now look at their hand. Ice Golem is useless. Cannon is ground only. Log is useless. Skeletons are useless. They have to cycle 4 cards to get back to the Musketeer. By the time they cycle those 4 cards, your Balloon has already connected. The tower is gone. Even if they cycle back to a second Musketeer, your Lava Pups will distract her while the Balloon delivers the final blow. In response, the 2.6 player will often attempt a base race. They will ignore your Lava Hound and spam Hog Riders at the bridge, hoping to take your tower before you take theirs. This is a fatal error. Tombstone provides a full counter to the Hog Rider for only 3 elixir. While they are wasting 4 elixir to kill your 3 elixir building, your 15 elixir Air Force is deleting their side of the map. The key principle here is simple. Do not defend the Hog Rider with troops. Defend with the building. Keep your troops committed to the offense. If you take 1000 damage on your tower, but you take their entire tower, you have won the exchange. Math does not care about your tower health. It only cares about the crown count. A 3 crown victory is statistically more likely for the Lava Hound player than the Hog player. Furthermore, the visual chaos of a Lava Hound push often causes the 2.6 player to misplace their cannon, capitalize on their panic. Now, Electro Giant. This archetype is designed to reverse the logic of fast cycle. 2.6 relies on high attack speed. The cannon shoots fast. The Musketeer shoots fast. The Electro Giant has a mechanic called reflection damage. Every time he is hit, he zaps the attacker. This means the faster you attack him, the faster you kill yourself. It is a mechanic for the defender. Watch the cannon interaction. It shoots, it gets zapped. It shoots, it gets zapped. The cannon destroys itself before it can even deal significant damage. The Musketeer suffers the same fate. Even the Skeletons, which are usually their DPS saviors, evaporate the moment they touch him. The Electro Giant turns their high DPS against them. The golden ticket in this matchup is Lightning. The 2.6 player has to play perfectly. They have to space their cannon and Musketeer far apart to avoid lightning value. They call this the anti-lightning plant. But the map is small. If they place the cannon in the center and the Musketeer on the edge, you tornado the Musketeer into the lightning radius. Boom. Defense deleted. Electro Giant connects. Against 2.6, you play this deck on autopilot. Do not force plays in single elixir. Just defend. Tornado the Hog to the king. Wait for double elixir. Drop Electro Giant in the back. Hover your lightning spell. Watch them panic as they realize their entire deck is designed to kill itself against your win condition. If they try to cycle multiple cannons, the lightning hits the highest health target, removing the defensive structure instantly. Let us discuss the psychology of this matchup. When the Electro Giant crosses the bridge, the 2.6 player enters a state of cognitive overload. They know that playing Skeletons is useless. They know the cannon will die. They know the Musketeer will die. They often freeze or make suboptimal plays like playing an ice golem to kite a unit that attacks buildings. Capitalize on this hesitation. If they hesitate for 1 second, the Electro Giant connects and the tower is lost. Next, we apply geometry. Royal Giant applies pressure from range, but the Royal Giant is not the primary counter here. The primary counter is the Fisherman. The Fisherman completely neutralizes the Hog Rider. You place him in the center, slightly towards the King Tower. Hog Rider comes in. Yoink. Hog hits the King Tower. King Tower activates. We have discussed this. King activation equals game over. The Fisherman does not just stop the damage. He activates your strongest defensive asset, but the Fisherman is also your offensive weapon. The 2.6 player relies on the 4-3 cannon plant. They place the cannon in the exact center to pull your Royal Giant. This is their only way to stop the Royal Giant from locking onto the tower. You place Royal Giant. They place cannon. You place Fisherman at the bridge. Your Fisherman hooks their cannon away from the Royal Giant. Hunter acts as the cleanup crew. If they try to surround your Royal Giant with skeletons, the Hunter blasts them. If they play a Hog Rider and your Fisherman is out of cycle, the Hunter placed point blank kills the Hog in 2 shots. This deck removes the placement precision that 2.6 relies on. You do not need to outcycle them, you just need to outposition them. Furthermore, the Royal Giant deck typically runs the Phoenix. The Phoenix requires a specific response. If the 2.6 player uses their Musketeer to kill the Phoenix, they do not have the Musketeer for the Royal Giant. If they use the cannon for the Royal Giant, they do not have the cannon for the Hog Rider if you choose to counterpush. You overload their defensive cycle by presenting threats that require specific answers they do not have. The 2.6 player relies on rhythm. They are used to playing cannon, then Musketeer, then Ice Spirit. By pulling their units around with the Fisherman, you break their rhythm. You force them to react to chaotic board states rather than their practiced patterns. When they lose their rhythm, they lose the game. Finally, we have the counter for the sadists. If you want to make the 2.6 player question their life choices, you play Icebow. This strategy is purely psychological. Against 2.6, you do not play the X-Bow offensively. I repeat, do not play the X-Bow at the bridge. They have a 1 elixir Ice Golem. They can distract your X-Bow for eternity. They will just cycle Ice Golem and skeletons, and you will waste 6 elixir for nothing. You will be negative elixir, and they will punish you with a Hog Rider.
Instead, you play defensive siege. You place the X-Bow defensively, you place a Tesla. You have created a no-fly zone. The Hog Rider cannot break through a defensive X-Bow and a Tesla. It is mathematically impossible. The damage output of 2 buildings plus the tower is simply too high for the Hog Rider's health pool. Once you have secured the defense, you switch to the win condition, the rocket. A rocket deals roughly 500 to 600 damage to the tower depending on the level. A fireball deals roughly half that. You are winning the damage trade. You defend, you rocket. You defend, you rocket. They will try to outcycle your buildings. They will try to spam you, but you have Ice Wizard and Tornado. Even if you have 0 buildings on the map, this combo slows the Hog Rider down to a crawl. The Ice Wizard slows movement speed by 35%. Combined with the pull of the Tornado, the Princess Tower kills the Hog before it lands a hit. The match becomes a slow and inevitable suffocation. You turn their fast cycle into a fast way to lose. You are not playing Clash Royale anymore. You are playing a tower defense game, and you are the final boss. In Triple Elixir, you can cycle rockets faster than they can cycle Hog Riders. At that point, resistance is futile. Let's talk about the mental state of the opponent in this matchup. After 3 minutes of failing to break through your wall, the 2.6 player will often become desperate. They will start playing desperate fireballs on your X-Bow. They will start playing Hog Riders into obvious counters. This is when you know you have won. You have broken their spirit before you have broken their tower. Now let us review the philosophy of the 2.6 player. They believe that speed is the ultimate weapon. They believe that if they play fast enough, you will make a mistake. They are counting on your lag. They are counting on your bad finger placement. They are counting on you getting annoyed. But when you play these 5 decks, you remove the variable of speed. Splashyard removes speed by using the bowler's knockback physics. You slow the game down to the bowler's walking pace. Lavaloon removes speed by ignoring the ground game entirely and forcing a damage race they cannot win. You force them to look up while you destroy them. Electro Giant removes speed by using reflection damage to punish rapid attacks. You make their speed their greatest weakness. Royal Giant removes speed by using the Fisherman to manipulate unit positioning. You control the geometry, so their speed is irrelevant. Icebow removes speed by forcing the game into a 6-minute stalemate where only big spells matter. You drag them into deep water and drown them. You must understand that 2.6 is a relic. It is a deck from a time when defense was weaker. Today, with evolutions and champions and new mechanics, 2.6 is statistically obsolete, but people still play it because it is comfortable. By playing these hard counters, you are essentially forcing them to face reality. If you find yourself in a match against 2.6 and you are using one of these decks, remember the golden rule. Do not outcycle them, outvalue them. 2.6 relies on micro interactions. You rely on macro dominance. A single bowler is worth infinite skeletons. A single lava hound is worth infinite ice golems. A single rocket is worth infinite fireballs. Think about the elixir economy. Every time they play an ice golem to kite, they are spending 1 elixir to delay the inevitable. Every time they play a log to push back a tank, they are spending 2 elixir to buy 2 seconds. You are spending elixir to end the game. Conclusion: the 2.6 Hog Cycle deck is a test. It tests your discipline. It tests your ability to count cards, but structurally, it is a fragile machine. It operates on thin margins. It requires the musketeer to live. It requires the hog to hit. It requires the cannon to pull perfectly. If any of these variables fail, the system collapses. By introducing knockback with bowler and air superiority with lavaloon and reflection mechanics with Electro Giant, and geometry control with Fisherman and Rocket Cycle with Icebow, you introduce variables that their flowchart cannot solve. You force them to play a game they are not equipped to win. So when the scream returns, do not react. Do not panic. Smile. Your answers are already in rotation. The Hog Rider is not a threat. It is a resource. It is free elixir for your counter push. Go forth. Delete the virus. Reclaim the arena. Class dismissed.